guys, how you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Queen Rafi. I'm still your host. My name is Queen Rafi, and it's a really cold morning today. I hope you guys are doing well and keeping safe. Today we have a very phenomenal guest, and I think this is like his first time on this show. So let's show him a lot of love and hear what he has to say on today's topic. Please, let's meet our guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Kandra.
Hi,
Entrepreneur, producer, songwriter.
Oh my goodness.
Content creator.
Wow.
Anything. Hustler.
Hustler.
Born hustler. As an Igbo man,
So best put coat of many colors. It's nice to meet you, Kandra.
Nice to be on the show.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for accepting to be on this show. I know that this wasn't really like, you were not supposed to be here today, right? And it was like a very short notice from my team, and then you decided to give us today and your time. So thank you very much for being here.
Glad I could help.
Have you ever seen any episodes from this show before?
Yes. I've seen a couple.
Okay.
A couple of your solo shows, and I think I saw the one about you had a female guest about infidelity also. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. You're really up to date. That's literally like, I think the last show, 2 shows ago.
I might be a fan.
You might be. Don't be shy. You're welcome. I think we need to have like a fandom name that would give to our fandom, because, like I said, I'm really tired of saying "hey guys" every time I start the show. I want like a name, like maybe, something like that. You guys should let me know in the comment section. Let's see. 'Cause I'm tired of this "hey guys." It's too normal, and we don't do normal things here.
Try to be normal.
So today's topic basically is a very sensitive topic. And I feel like we need to talk about it very often, or more people, or more, how do I put it? More shows and more TV shows basically needs to talk about this topic more. I feel like a lot of people are trying to avoid topics like this because it's very controversial, and then it could always go south. But then again, if people don't talk about it, awareness will not be created about it, and then, it's going to keep going on and on. So basically, today's topic is bullying. Like I said, most people or most platforms don't like to talk about topics like this because, it's controversial and things could go south. Basically, what is your idea? What's your idea about the word bullying in general?
Well, to me, I think bullying is when you are in a place of power, or you are in a position of power, and then you are using it to oppress someone else. So, like, for example, I would like to say the Nigerian government are bullying the citizens.
Right.
Yeah, I like to say.
Right, actually,
the police are bullying the commuters.
Right.
I like to just say that.
Right. So, have you ever been in a position where you are bullied, either directly or indirectly?
Yes. I used to be in fact, I've always been a weird kid, weird person, sort of. So, but I remember, but I've always been rough, though. I don't like bullying people, so to say, but I've always been, I liked combat sports. I like boxing, wrestling, all those kinds of things. So I've always found myself like training with my uncles, because my uncles were martial artists back. So I've always been training. So I think because of that, people did not really bully me. But there was one time I remember. There was one time in particular I remembered, and so they actually ganged up on me. It was pretty bad. The other times where people tried to, we fought, and I actually beat them up. So I think that was why I didn't really get much bullying in school. I hated it. I hated the fact that some people just felt like they could just, use because they are bigger. Like, especially in schools, you see when you have there's this bigger person in the class.
Right.
He tends to just be automatically the head of the class without being the head. Because usually those kind of people, they will not be prefects. They will not be class captain. But now them go loud. And them go loud past. So I always like to put people like that in check.
This is so spot on. Okay, let me give you a quick story of my one-time bullying experience. After that time, I don't think I've ever been bullied. So when I was growing, I was in I think I was like basic, like primary 5, primary 6, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was a transfer student that came into our school. So at that time, our age range was like, when I was in primary 5, our age was like 9, 10. I think the oldest at that point was like 10 years old. Right? And then there was this transfer student that came in. I can never forget her name, Tony. Oh my goodness. At that time,
she must have done you.
Oh my god! At that time, Toyin was 23. So imagine a 23-year-old in primary 5 together with children who were like
23-year-old should be a graduate already.
I know, right?
This time.
I don't know what happened. She could barely speak English, and and all those things.
One of those maybe village people or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so she came, and I've always been about. I used to be a smart kid when I was growing up, right? So I was basically part of the tops of the class. Okay. And so because I was really tiny compared to now, if you see my throwback picture, you would shed tears. They used to call me sugar cane. I was tiny as fuck, and I was literally, I think I was like the youngest in my class, because my education was really fast while growing up. So what she used to do that time is, first of all, we'll use our money to buy her. When it's break time, we use our money to buy her break. Anybody who doesn't bring your money, she'll wait for you, because there's this corner that comes that leads to our class. That place is really dark, so she'll wait for you in that particular spot. Once you are passing, before break, first of all, she'll give us a list of things that she wants to eat for break, and then she'll hand the list over to us. Then we would not use our money. Like anybody who comes to school with money, or maybe you brought food and then she likes the scent of your food, you must give it to her. And if you do not, so it went on for quite a while. She would literally stop by and beat you, like she'd beat the shit out of you sometimes. So it is, right? Sometimes when, like, for example, when we're taking notes in class and stuff, or maybe there's assignments to do, like, she doesn't need to remind you to come and do her assignments for her, or to come and write her notes. It was so bad, and I felt like at that time, even the teachers as at then were pretty scared of her. Nobody was trying. They knew what was going on, but they were not trying to confront her, because she was like 23, and basic primary school teachers are usually like almost of the same age range. Exactly. So there was nobody who could call her to order, and she could not be expelled or anything like that. So it continued for a very long period of time. Like a lot of my classmates, sometimes when we even complain to, like, because I used to have a classmate, and they'd be like, when you she was like, when she complained to her mom was like, we should treat her as our elder, because I feel like African parents do not understand the level of bullying that kids go through. They feel like it's just sharing, it's your classmates, play with her. Do you understand? So, but for me, there was one time she beat me so bad, I think I had a tear on my head. So when I went home, my sister noticed that this thing was not in your face when you left this morning. So my sister, oh my goodness, if there is anything good she has done for me, that was the best thing she did for me. There was a tear on my head. And then when I got home, she noticed that this thing wasn't there when I left the house this morning. And then she asked me what happened. And then I now told her everything. She went to school the next day. My sister was still pretty young at that time. She wasn't even up to that 23. She wasn't up to that 23 at that time. So when I told her that this is what this particular girl does to us in school, she's like, what about your teachers and stuff? So my sister came with cane. She brought cane, like she bought cane on our way to school. She took the cane to school, and then she told the girl to come out, and then she flogged the shit out of her in the presence of everybody, and the teachers could not say anything. So my son was not like, this is what happens in, like other places, and then these kids are complaining to you that but in the first place, why is this person in this class with these small children? Do you understand? So I felt like my sister did not just save me, she literally saved all my classmates too, because after that incident, the towing girl stopped coming to school.
Wow.
So that was how we were saved from towing. And this happened for like it's not semester, I'm trying to remember.
So you guys chased her out of school?
We had to. Imagine somebody beating you up in class. Like when you're going to school, sometimes when I'm going to, I just know that this food I'm taking to school is not my own. Let me just go and submit it to Towing to avoid the beating for that day.
A legend,
just to make sure that I avoid the beating for that particular day. I just know that this food I'm going to school is not my own.
Terrorizing the whole class.
It was crazy.
But there's this question people usually ask: how many 12-year-old does it take to beat up an adult? Because I'm just wondering, like, you guys could have ganged up.
How? We were really tiny.
The problem with kids is that they are not smart enough to understand that you are more than this person. You can, if you guys actually collectively stand up, you can do. But still, you get this who go different, Because I always have this problem with war. When people go for war, I'm like, I won't be in the front though. If I go for war, if I was going with you guys, I would do someone for the back. Like, I did, but I won't be in the front. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the problems with stuff like that. But I think back to my own experience,
Yeah.
little experience, but
Yeah.
I didn't really get bullied because I didn't give them the chance to bully me. So
Right.
there was this guy as well in school. I remember he used to be big in class. I was a little bit older than us, nothing crazy though. So I remember there was this one time. I've always had, like, for my mind, I know say this guy, the people they fear this guy,
Yeah.
and I always set lines for people. I say this guy will cross my line one day. So something happened, and I don't know. I'm not really sure of what happened, but I think he did something to me in class or something. But I talked to him. I talked back to him. I give him out. So there was nothing. He was not like, okay, he will see me after school. There should be at the make mouth. He will see me after school. That kind of thing. So, cause I remember that time. Cause I told him I said I be barrack boy. So I remember after school. Normally I would go home on time, just leave and go with my friends. But I remember this particular day I waited. I wanted to see what this guy would do.
He would do.
Because I was very rough as a kid. I was fighting with my uncles were fighting with me. No man, I steady thing with a wrestle, with a fight.
Are you for
Because they were martial artists, so they had this.
You grew up in the barracks.
I grew up in the barracks, so they were always fighting with me. So that's why I had this fighting mentality. You understand? But not as if they were beating me up.
Right.
You get this kind of thing. So I was basically wrestling with people that were bigger than me and stuff.
Yeah.
So after school, I waited. So the guy was coming to me. I folded my arms. But as a sharp guy now, I had one eye on him, because just in case. So, but I stood there. I purposely waited for my friends. Them usually I would have rushed them. Let's go home. I like to watch movies or play games. But this time I said, make I know what this guy won't do today. So I just folded my arms and I waited. So and then he came. After some time, he was fidgeting around and he came in and he put his head on my head and I was like, you should be the make mad abi. I just folded my hand. I was like, make this guy F up today. You understand? Because I know what I would do was not normal.
Yeah.
Because most people don't know about fighting. That was the thing. And he did that, and when he saw that I did not even yield or I was not scared or anything, he just walked away. So I was like, so now all the matter with him. Me, I think we go fight today. Now I don't plan moves for my head already. You understand?
Right.
I think one of the ways to actually stop something like this is to let kids be able to stand for themselves and try, and we need to try and look into this thing, because it's not easy. I know most kids will not want to look like, I go call my mama.
Right.
I went to report to my dad.
Right.
Or, something
and then
like
you
that.
still come back and get bullied again.
You
go call your mama for small fight.
So most people have this. There's this. I don't know what to call it, but there's this. I don't know if it's peer fear or something. They would not want to speak out.
Right.
And that happens when people are going through a lot.
Right.
So they are scared of speaking out. They are scared of voicing out because of what people might say or what this and that. But if you are going through something and you decide to keep it down or swallow it. It's not really the best. It's not really the best. I haven't dealt with. Maybe that's why I'm not really that. Because I've always stood up for myself. I did not wait for like people to always come and fight my battles for me. I've always liked to stand up for myself. So I think, and maybe having this little experience with martial arts and maybe that kind of helped me a little bit.
Yeah.
So or maybe a lot though. So I think I would encourage things like that. If you can. It's just to say everybody could be. Some people think martial arts is like encouraging violence, but it's not really encouraging violence because it's like self-defense. And they teach you discipline when you become an artist. Because I had more self-control when I started learning about fighting, because I knew this fighting thing was not easy. You will see when people who train to fight, you see somebody small that will beat somebody big up. So it kind of made me, I was not really like excited about fighting people. So I think that might go a long way in reducing bullying. But parents too and guardians, they have a lot to do.
Right.
Like your teacher in this story, for example, they should have said something. They had the power to have stopped this thing. They could have called her and put her in check and tell her, man, stop this thing you're doing. But the fact that they kept quiet is quite amazing, though. That's your own story. I know stuff like this usually happens in boarding schools. I've
never been to a boarding school. It was a private school for that matter.
That's
not
interesting.
even a public school.
That's interesting that this something as serious as this happened.
It's crazy. I know, right?
Because my sis had stories like this when she went to boarding school. There was something like this where one, but this one was not even their class. It was maybe some sets ahead. And usually might not even know them. They might just call you, hey, you go and bring this thing. They will send you go and buy this thing for me, and they'll give you 10 naira. And they'll ask you to buy something of 100 naira. I know back then money was a big deal. So this, you have to use your own money to buy something for. I hear stories like that. But
It's
I don't know.
crazy. And then if we're speaking facts, you would also agree with me that our Nigerian parents or African parents per se, they don't see bullying as a big deal. They'll be like, now your mates they beat you, so go back, go fight, go beat them. So do you understand? It's a very common thing when for example, it's just these days when parents are beginning to wisen up and then they're beginning to have the idea of, oh, I need to protect my kid. Because I think recently, not long ago, like 3 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, there's a particular school who has had consecutive deaths of children coming from their mates bullying them.
Are you serious?
There was one time, it's not been long. I think they said the students gave his classmates acid, if I'm not mistaken, to drink out of bullying. And when the mother was, I think she came live on Instagram one time and then she was crying and then she was complaining and she was saying to herself that she wished she had listened to her son when he was telling her that he was being bullied in school, that she just didn't take it seriously because she said her kid is a quiet person, and then she felt like maybe anybody who tries to play with him, he feels like the person is not, he doesn't want to be with the person, and then he always tends to complain. Sometimes he even refuses to go to school. So she felt like it's just because he's quiet, he doesn't want to associate with people. Wow. That's why he was bringing up all those stories until he actually lost his life. Nigerian parents or African parents generally are not paying attention to the fact that your kid might actually get bullied in school. Do you get?
I think why I won't really blame the parents. Like I said in the beginning, I think bullying is kind of ingrained into our own mentality.
Right.
Like I said, like in the government is bullying us a lot.
A lot. We're even coming to that. That one is general overseer of all kinds of bullying.
Even while in school, I don't want to mention my school so that it doesn't cause problems.
Yeah,
so,
me too. I tried not to.
But this is the thing, while I was in university,
right,
we were being bullied constantly by the authorities. Yes, constantly. Let me explain what happens. Like, I remember then, when you're a fresher and you get into school, you don't know what to do.
Right.
And you have to go and make inquiries. You are better off asking students than going to ask any lecturer or anybody in an office. Because when you get into an office, this thing happens a lot. And it really pissed me off. Like my first year of school, that was the experience I had. I walk into an office. They'll tell you this is the office where you need to go and find out something. And I'm new here. I don't know what's going on here. And I walk into the... Like if I say it in hindsight, it feels funny, but... Like usually when you get into an office, they will paste the instructions of what you're supposed to do at the door.
Okay.
But you, as a fresh student, you don't know.
Yeah.
If somebody does not point out that, hey, when you get to this building at the door, so I'm not expecting anything to be at the door. And I just walk into this office and the lady or whoever is there will just be busy. They won't even recognize your presence that you're inside. And you'll be like, you go even greet because me, I'm the greeting type.
Yeah.
Good morning, ma. Good afternoon, ma. They're not going to answer you. They said I should come here for blah, 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 blah. They won't answer you. It's after you've stood there for some time and be stupid enough, they will not be like, did you not see the thing at the door? I mean, to me, that is bullying.
It is.
It's bullying because I cannot talk back to you because I'm scared. I'm a fresh student. Yeah. I don't know what power you have in the school. Right. I can't say anything to you, but that's bullying. Right. What does it cost you to just, hi, what are you here for? Okay, the instruction is out there. You understand? For the fact that I came inside means I did not know there was something out there. Right. So you're like, did you not see the thing outside? I mean, and that thing they keep morale like this. You go just get there like, poof. The worst that happened was the medical center. This was exactly the same thing that was going on there. People will come there with complaints of, I have headache, paracetamol. I'm feeling this one. They go say they will give me a paracetamol. I didn't really go to the medical center, so I didn't really have that experience with them. But at some point, somebody died in the medical center in our school. Wow. So this one might make people know this school. Somebody died in the medical center because of this same negligence that these guys always do. When you come there, they are complaining. They just saying, give them a paracetamol. They don't even take you seriously. Right. So I think a lady died. Then students were pissed. They burnt the medical building. They broke it down. They burnt it. They burnt the boss. The nurses, everybody, doctors, everybody ran away from school that day. It was hot. It was hot. They had to call police. Yeah. Police had to come inside and like disperse the crowd with tear gas and stuff. So that to me, that's what I'm saying. That's like we are used to this bullying mentality. Everybody felt it's normal. Like I walked. I was like, this is not normal. There should be somebody I can report to and say, hey, why is this? If you're not ready to work, leave the school.
Leave this.
Why
Right.
should you be there and just be bullying people?
Right. And that's why even in as much as, America or like another foreign country, in as much as they also have their own, problems and stuff, and there's still a lot of bullying going around. But in places where authorities should be above bullying, they always make sure that they keep it in check.
Yes.
Compared to Nigeria, it is even people in the authority go and them go they bully. Exactly.
We are very, very
Exactly.
It's
a very, very terrible thing. And even, in fact, let's even leave school system. If we talk about entertainment generally, there are people in the entertainment industry that bully their mates. You know what I'm trying to talk about. I'm not going to mention names or anything, because I'm not trying to be controversial or anything. But like when, like, for example, we have a lot of controversies going on online, and most times you find the crowd support. Okay, let's take for example, what's it called, Big Brother Niger. There was this particular level that is Mercy Ake's set. I think she had issue with one of the housemates. Is her name Ella or Esther? I can't remember per se. And then on live TV, Mercy is someone who is doing pretty well. She has money. She has, lifestyle and everything. She's balling. And then there is Esther, who is like upcoming. She's good. She has potentials. But when the industry has favored somebody over you, I'm not saying Mercy didn't put in work and all those things, but like on a national TV, I think they went for a reunion or something. And then on national TV, they were arguing about something. And then Mercy asked her, "Are you on drugs? Do you do drugs?" And she was like, "Drugs? Have you seen me with drugs?" She was like, I think you're on drugs. You need to stay away from drugs." And this was like 2 years ago. And even up till today, like imagine something that someone did to you 2 years ago is still haunting you till now, because you see she wasn't having people giving her gigs because of the stigma that has been rubbed on her of drugs. She wasn't getting gigs. In fact, even the people that she signed with, they terminated contracts and all those things. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes too is, apart from school and everything, everywhere in this Nigeria, everybody just bully everybody. Anywhere where you put her, there is bullying going on, severe bullying going on. And then she came on live recently and she was like, people like Mercy might not even know the gravity of what of the things that she said, and a lot of people might not understand because they are not in my shoes. But I know she was like, she knows what she has lost just because of that simple statement of, "Are you on drugs? If you're on drugs, stop taking drugs and stuff." So it had taken her career from, let's say, like a 30% where she's trying to go. It had brought her back to zero. She wasn't getting gigs and everything, and she was like, she felt depressed for a very long period of time. And if not for family members and people around her, that who knows what she would have done. That this kind of thing should not be encouraged. But you find out that people were, even while she was live, people were still telling her that she's on drugs, even while she was live complaining. Because Mercy has a fan base. She has a very big fan base. And then she has people who follow her, whether you're doing the right thing or not. They just want to support her. So when the issue was happening, people were still coming to her life to say that she's speaking like someone who is on drugs. But this is somebody that was just trying to express herself. So 2 years after she was bullied, it's still affecting her up until now. Do you understand? And then if you leave entertainment industry, if you go to hospitals, you still find senior stars that are bullying junior stars. Anywhere you go to, basically in this country, it's just a lot of bullying going on, and people are suffering on the low, because who do you want to complain to? The high and mighty ones that you're supposed to complain to are the ones that are actually bullying you and partaking in this bullying and stuff. So it's a very, 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 very delicate thing that I feel like people should look into. Besides Mercy and the others, there are also different things too. Is it Burner? Is it Whiskey? I said we don't call names. Oh God, why do I always like bringing problem for myself? Whatever you decide to do, like you find these things happening everywhere. And then the people who are supposed to run to the police, is it the ones that police have done to us? What are they? How many youth remain safe for this country? Like it was a massive thingy that happened in 2020. Yeah, the NSAS and everything. That was the worst. That was the height of anything, because they were killing people actually. I'm telling you. And then you find police officers just because you're dressed nice. For example, if you go out like this, there's every tendency that they will stop you on the road. Why? Because they feel like if you're dressed properly, then you have something going on with you. That's bullying. Because that's like there's them using their powers for the wrong purposes. And then of recent, they've learned one new habit of, even if you're inside keke, they will make sure they stop the keke, bring you down from the keke and search you properly. I've heard of cases like that. I don't know why. I really get situations like that. The few times when I was in school, there was this one time where I got stopped by the police, and the way I even approached them was, man, themselves gonna say this one not a problem, because somebody with muff to just stop me, and it was like,
police go to this. At first I was like, which thing be this one? I didn't even want to go with him in the first place. And if I had not gone with him, there was nothing he could have done. That's the fact. But I said, okay, waiting, this what is this about? Because at first I thought it was somebody that was trying to beg me for money or sell me something.
Right.
But when I went to this, I saw people on uniform. They were in a bus, and I was like, yeah, what's the problem? The guy said they want to search my phone. I remember me being like, I want to search my phone. What are you looking for in my phone? Because me, my own thing is, I could get clean hand. I was not really into anything shady. So I was like, what are you searching my phone for? They're looking for people that are doing fraud and all that. Because I had my laptop in my bag. Okay. I was like, so do you think if I was actually doing anything, you will see anything, you will see it in my phone or you will see it in my laptop? I told the guy that if I was doing anything, I will hide it. You will not see it. You wouldn't
be able to find it.
It was like, am I saying it's an illiterate or it's a computer illiterate? I said, no, it's not a matter of computer. Like, if I hide it, you will not see it. That's what I told him. He was just like, God don't know this one about me. Because at first I was like, are you guys sure you are supposed to do this? Like, when did this one start? I've never heard anybody say you want to search my phone or anything like that.
Those people were extremely nice to you.
What would they have done? So here's the thing. I always believe it's when you have something to hide in the first place, right? And if you don't have anything to hide, and you know you're right, and you actually stand for your right, there's nothing they can do. So this is the thing. So here's the thing with me. I have a we go die here mentality. Okay. So where I like I said, I hate bullying. So my own team say we go die here, be that. So like for example, there was this thing that happened with one of my friends where the police were actually looking for someone else, and because the girl had called him, they set him up. They called him there. They wanted to deliver something to him, and himself, he had delivery from DHL. He actually went to the bus stop to meet them, and it turned out to be police people. Wow. And they were on Mufti. They took him with not even their police van. They took him with something else. I told him, I was like, now today they for kill me, now they are for die. I would have not gone with those people. And for stereo they shout. Made people got die. For stereo they shout saying a thief, they won't kidnap you because I've done nothing wrong.
Right.
You have no, and they actually took him to the side. And you believe he bailed himself for 20,000.
Oh my
His brother actually came to bail him out to 20,000 for something that did not concern him at all. So that's why I say I always have this we go die here mentality. That's why I'm like, rather than you bully me or cheat, it's better you just kill me at that place. So that's what would have happened. Most times
these people actually, most people who have the same mentality with you, most of them are in the bushes, right?
Well, the thing is,
their parents can't even find. They don't even know where they are.
You go use sense do everything what they do. So like if there are roads where I'll be on, like when I travel, like and the police stop me on the road, like when I'm coming from Ogun State, for example, now I'm usually very nice. Because now bush ID.
Right.
Okay, but when I'm in the open, I don't say no how. Me, I go make noise. We go fight. If you want kill me, but people will gather. You understand? But when you're in somewhere that is like kind of like that, when they stopped me in school, it was in Yaba now. Yaba is very, very crowded now. People were moving up and down. So I was like, this one, if I shout, no how, these people will not leave this place. And Yaba is very rough. These people will not leave this place. So that's my own mentality. Because if I had something to hide, I would have been fidgeting or something like that. But I was very confident. Like, what is this one saying? It's just like when they stopped me. For example, there was one guy that's police when they stopped me. This one when you're driving, that is the worst one. If you are driving without papers, oh Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord. Oh. Lord. Even when your papers are complete, there's this fear when they stop you, like, waiting will happen now. So I was driving because I got a car from someone, and the license plate that was on his vehicle, I put it in my trunk that I was going to go and give it back to him, but I did not have the chance to give it to him. So it was my own plate that was registered, and my own papers were complete. So the plate number was in the boot. And this guy, first of all, he was actually just bullying me because they stopped someone in front. Not that they were even doing stop, but they were just stopping to greet the person. I mean, I was behind this person, and I horned like, maybe these people come on for road, make I pass. So because I horned now, this guy now asked me to park.
Okay.
And he was just being so aggressive. And I asked me, come back, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, like, what's this one? Because my papers were complete. So I was like, what's this one they do? I park. He said, come down. I'm always with this small bag. He was like, wait, open your bag. Let me see. I wanted to start my whole madness of what are you searching my bag for? Waiting concern, you know. I was like, let me just keep quiet. There's nothing in my bag. Let me not prolong this thing. Highest thing, he will check my papers. I opened my bag for him. He looked. Open your boot. He was just shouting. I see they calm myself down. So I opened the boot and he looked inside and he saw the plate number. There was nothing inside the boot. No, nothing. I was not hiding anything. So I was not really scared of him. So when he saw the plate, I was like, what's this one? I told him, I said, stop shouting now. When I said stop shouting, the guy when he first looked at me, I was like, stop, why you they shout now? We should shout up and down. So I was like, It was like, I said, is it a crime to have a plate number in my boot? And my papers are complete. What's your business? What's the problem if I have a plate number in my boot? I'm not displaying it.
Right.
I want to give this to someone else. So I didn't even like, I said, this one just they play. Me, I called my people. I explained to them, like, see what's happening. So at the end of the day, they talked to him. Yeah, at the end of the day, it was not like, you find or something. That was what ended it. So in most cases, you have this thing where they are just looking for something they can use to bully you. But even if they don't, like, there's no real grounds, because we don't know our rights in Nigeria. That's why we get bullied.
Our rights are not even.
We actually don't even have rights. That's the thing.
Exactly.
But that's why I'm like. That's why me, I'm like, we go die here. Yeah. Like that guy, for example. Now he get the way for do that. They say he won't do rough. We go die there. Oh. We go die there. And let me just give you guys tips. If you are driving, if you want to, police stop you, first thing, collect your key. Because once they have your key, that's it. And that's what they're actually going for. They just go in and take your key. Yeah. So if you off the car, carry your key. Once you are with your key, they can't do like there's really less they can do, because you can leave at any time and they don't go on just stay with your matter.
Right.
So Nigeria is actually quite lawless. But I pray we get to that point where people can actually know their rights and stand up for their rights, and it will mean something. Because if you are fighting for a right that nobody's enforcing, then you are fighting a lost cause already. I
know, right? Let me give you one very sweet tea. So there was this particular time I schooled in Bayelsa, right? Mm-hmm. And most times Bayelsa is like 12 hours sometimes. Because most times when you get to Benin, there is always back and forth. And Benin bypass, there's a lot of bad things that happens on that. Is very popular. So usually I don't travel to school by road. I like to fly, because to avoid any kind of anything, because I'm the first person that is schooling very far away from home to start with. So my parents don't want to use air and hear that I was traveling by road and something now happened. So there was this particular time I wanted to stay. Okay, when I moved out of the host, I wanted to stay alone. So I got money from my people, like, to fly and stuff. So I didn't fly. What I did was, oh God, they will see this video. Jesus,
Nigerians.
I'm about to be casted.
Nigerians.
So what I did, because I wanted to get my own place, but my people were like, they don't think I should stay alone and stuff. But I'm like, I know I can't stay with anybody in school. And then staying off campus meant extra money and stuff. And then getting a place, because Bayelsa is known for lots of water. So most times when you could find houses off campus are like 200,000 to like that. But like most times when it rains very little, you have all your houses filled with water and stuff. So for you to get a place that was well sand filled and safe from water and all the whole what's it called now? Water now. What happened very recently in flood? Yeah, so safe from flood and everywhere. So I had when I was picking a house, I had to go for one that was going to be like that, and it was pretty expensive. I don't want to say the price. It was very expensive. So I'm like, instead of using this amount of money, we had just finished COVID at that time. So, and people were still using masks to travel and all those things. So I'm like, nothing happened. All these years, people used to travel by road. Let me just travel by road. So nobody knew I was traveling by road to start with. Because I told them my flight was by 6:30. That's the only way I can leave home early and then still go by road and still miss the time. So I told them my flight was by 6:30. And since I was going to Ikeja, I had to leave home as early as 5:30. So I got to the park, bought my ticket, and I was seated, and I still had a lot of change to add to the money that I used to pay to stay alone. So when we entered, it was Agofre. I can never forget my experience. It was Agofre. And then the journey was going, and we had our car spot like 2 times on the road. So we're already behind time. It was already getting late. And then we got to Benin Bypass around 7-8 p.m. And then how it gets, how the night, it's usually, the nights are longer than the daytime in the south of those places. So we got to Benin Bypass, and then we saw some policemen. They were just scattered everywhere around the road with their guns fully loaded. And then I remember there was a bus, there was a traveling bus, I can't remember the name of the company's name, in our front. And then we were like, these people are not stopping us, let's just bypass the guy and then go.
And you were in bypass.
And
you were trying to bypass.
Let's just bypass them and go. And then at that time I think they were carrying like only 8 passengers. I think so, like one by the edge. So our driver carried two extra people. The company doesn't know about it. It's his own private money. You know how he's getting his own extra cash. So we're very unlucky that day. And then we're like, this was not stopping us. And let's just the guy was on the run. We were like, let's just go past them and then continue our journey because we're still going far. We're just at Benin at that time. So as we moved, we heard a gunshot. The guy, one of the police officers, like shot in the air. If you see the speed my driver used in parking, like he just hit the brake. Like I was already. Oh my goodness. Speaking about this is giving me chills. I was already so scared. I'm like, Jesus, I would have just paid for this flight and go to this flight. I was already regretting my life because it was 7 p.m. and we're still at Benin bypass. I got to school that day around 1 a.m. Wow. That day. And I'm like, oh God, is this God trying to get back at me for using the money that they gave me to fly to do something else? So he told us to park and then we came down. As soon as one of the officers came close to me, I could smell that this guy was very drunk. You know, when somebody has drank, he has smoked, when he breathes, you can perceive it. And there were like 3 of them like that. The others were still with the people at the back. So he now asked the guy, because the glasses are tinted, he now told the driver that we should calm down so that he can search. The driver was not like, because most times they don't usually stop and go for it, but I think they didn't pay those particular guys. So they were like, so the driver wanted to argue with him and stuff like that. He now slapped the driver. That's when I knew. Serious? That was when shit got real to me. I'm like, one person will die in this place today. He slapped the driver like 2 times, and then the driver now came and opened the door because he already asked the driver, how many passengers do you have? And he told the guy that there were only 8, meanwhile we were 10. And according to the rule at that time, you're not supposed to carry more than 8 people because it was COVID and everybody was trying to, recover from it. So when the guy came, he opened it. He saw that there were 2 extra people. They began to beat this driver up. They were like 2 kicking, punching. I was just saying, Lord. I was just saying the Lord's Prayer. While they were at it, the people at the back, there was one particular guy at the very good. Remember I told you that we bypassed one, and then the people at the back, there was one guy there that was refusing. I think he was refusing for them to search him or something. They now started beating him up. I think he was now fighting back. One now cocked his gun and faced it with him. Like he was so ready to shoot. I told you these guys were drunk. That these police officers, they were fucking drunk. I'm not sure they would even remember anything that happened at that particular time. So most of them were acting based on the fact that they didn't even know what they were doing anymore. So the guy was not like, Shebi now go just kill me once, everything will end for you. So he was basically fighting back. This guy had blood covered, or like his body was covered with blood. The one of the police officers was using his gun, the under of his gun to hit his head continuously. The guy to carry stone and was using the stone to hit one of the. It was bloody as fuck. So they now forgot about us because their own fights got serious. They left us there. They now went to the back to go and face this guy. The other guy that wanted to put mouth to, they joined, like 2 of them, they were beating the shit out of them. So one of them was now shouting, waste time now. How civilian go they beat it? Like say, waste time now. As the guy now cocked his gun, the guy that they were beating now ran into the bush. They chased him into the bush. When I say we spent like 3 hours in that place, they were like, if they don't find him, he will go out and report, talk about what was going on. So they were like, they must find him and they must kill him that day. Kanji, when I tell you that I have never experienced anything like that in my life.
You don't have drama for this life.
I've been to hospitals and I've, seen things that have, happened and stuff. But like, I have never seen something like that in my life. I'm like, is it because I did not fly? Is this God trying to? It was crazy. Even my driver was bleeding at this point. My driver was not like that. He's not going anywhere again. That they will kill him. When I started begging him, please take us to Bayelsa first. It was crazy, and this is bullying because we didn't do anything. The other guys that they are trying to waste who did not do anything.
Well, your driver carries 2 extras.
Okay.
That's why I always say. So let me. I'm playing devil's advocate here. If you come correct, you still have a lot of ground to stand on. Right. So you understand? Mm-hmm. Like your driver, for example, did something wrong. So it's. I'm not saying what they did is right. You understand me? Right. But here's the thing now. If you are looking for equity, you need to come correct. You understand? So in a situation like that's why I said I always when I don't have my papers correct, before they even stop me, I don't carry 1,000 people for their hand.
But I feel like there are better ways that they would have been like, because you broke this law, pay this amount of money.
Well, that's the thing. The law is usually not that harsh. The worst thing that happens, you will go to jail for some time.
Right.
That's but these guys have so much power, and we have little to say about it.
And isn't it even very, very wrong for them to be on duty and be that drunk?
A lot of things is just wrong with this country, and I'm happy because of social media now. Because I was going to say something about social media when you were talking about this online bullying. The thing is, I kind of like Nigerian social media.
Yeah,
They pick on the right people, and they sweet me. Like, everybody gangs up and attack the person when they get sense.
Right.
They sweet me, but there are some times where they have to check it. But because of the social media now, we get to see a lot of officers, and this is the same thing that happened in the US, where now the officers have to wear body cam, but then they have laws. We don't have laws, so they have to wear body cam. But like the other police officer that was slapping one man, and the man came out and like, what did I do? Why you slapping my thief? Did I still? And he was still slapping him. The video went on.
Yeah.
And
Can I know my offense?
They didn't sack him. They actually demoted the police officer. Yes, they did now. They did it on TV now.
Wow.
They demoted him. They called him out. They deranked him and put him. I really don't know what happened, but I know they demoted him. So if and that was because this is because of social media. It was out there. The police had to do something.
Right.
So this was the same thing that was going on in that NSAS period. But my thing is that NSAS. The thing is the problem is it starts from people who are actually, not that, doing the right thing, breaking the laws, but then it starts to spill out and get, even when they catch you and there's nothing going on, they just want to just bully and get money from you.
Right.
So I've seen situations where they arrested someone for being around an area where something was happening. They said they were looking for some Yahoo boys or something, and they took this guy. Okay, nothing. I don't have anything. There's nothing to do. He still had to bail himself. So It's just crazy. Like, so it's just crazy, and there's nothing you can do about it. These people will hold you down. And back then when it was SARS, if they hold you, say, you must pay money, especially when they check your account and they see money.
Yeah, they see money. That's the thing. And then these are people that, okay, in a situation whereby a police is bullying, you're supposed to be able to report this matter to a police officer. But in a situation whereby it is the police gone that you're supposed to, it's crazy. Like recently, a woman that was, I think she was coming back from church on a Sunday morning. She literally got shot. I think it was on the island. It's very recent, like a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. A heavily pregnant woman that was shot by a police officer just because of 100 naira, because she refused to give him 100 naira on the road. And we wouldn't have even known what even transpired if not that there were people around where the thing happened. Because before she got to the hospital, I think before she got to the hospital, she had died, and she was heavily pregnant. And this is coming from somebody, from a police officer.
Do you know what happened to the police officer?
Till today, there's no news about it. Till today, there is no news about it. This is armed robbery in broad daylight, coming from a police that was supposed to be reporting things to. So in this country now, when things are going bad, who do we go to?
Go to God.
It's crazy.
I remember the last election that happened. This one is sensitive, but I remember before the election when people were posting Jesus Christ on their I go still talk this matter because it paid me well. People were posting Jesus Christ. I think what was this gospel artist that came out and said, is it Godfrey?
I think so.
That said we should post Jesus Christ.
For like 1 week.
It brought that by passage of when they see the blood, they pass over, something like that. I'm the last person you want to send any religious thing to and tell me to post. In fact, if I see, once I hear any post that comes with a condition, like if you don't send to 20 people, I'm not posting.
That is when I will not send it.
Post. That's when I don't send. You understand? If it touches my spirit, I'll send. So, but I think he posted this thing because of they just recently killed some people in a church. They got into a church and they killed some people in Ogun State. Was it Ogun State or Ifo? I can't remember. But one of these western states, they came into the church, shot up some people and killed some Christians. And so he posted this thing. Was like, let us just post this thing. Like when they see the blood. Let me not talk. But I had people that are supposed to even be carriers of Jesus Christ that were coming out to now criticize what these guys were doing. Yeah. Like people were like, they were now designing their own PVC. I'm like posting PVC, like we need to post PVC. I'm like, you are in a country where there's no law. You are in a country where like this, like things don't actually go as you plan. You are in that kind of country. Why are you like people for the first time, people are coming together to say, okay, hey, let's post Jesus Christ on our status. You know,
yeah.
I'm not all that religious. So when it comes to Christianity, I might be like 40%. You understand? But this was something like there's nothing else you can do. At the end of the day, PVC. Shebi now PVC where everybody come outside, vote. We're singing, Peter Obi. What happened? We're shouting, election is rigged, blah 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 blah. Till now, we still have the president who people are not even like who won the election or something. But there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing that we're having court cases where you're dragging. So for me, like, I know it will take a time, it will take a while, but it's something we need to step by step know how we are doing it. It's not something you just bear. And that's why I believe if you're a Christian nation, hold on to God.
Right.
The Muslim states are doing very well. Sorry to say this, it might be like I'm slighting on the Christians, but they are doing well because they have discipline.
They do, right?
Muslims would have not done that thing. If somebody had said, let us as Muslims post this thing, nobody will come and be speaking English.
Right.
We only have this thing happening with Christians.
Right.
Look at the Arab nation now that discovered oil. They are all doing very well.
Right.
Because they have this, discipline. They have this, their religion preaches a certain thing and they are strict with it. And that's why when they discover this thing, Nigeria has OSS, how long ago? But when they discover this thing, now everybody there is a big boy now.
Right.
So I believe, now that's why I say now God, last, because if you or any deity you believe in, if not Juju they worship, now him. That's what I believe that can help Nigeria, except you want to do a very harsh revolution. Those are the two things that I think can help Nigeria at this point.
Right. So I think we've touched basic and in fact not just basic. At why is English hard for me today? We have extensively we have extensively discussed this bullying of a thing, and there are more places, even the ones that we did not remember to mention. There are more places and more scenarios where people are being bullied, and bullying is taking places in different parts of this country right now that nobody is even talking about. But I feel some sense of relief. I don't know if you do, that we talked about this topic because it has been on my mind for a very long period of time. So there are people who have been bullied. There are people who are still being bullied, and there are different kinds of bullies going on in the world right now. So if you could give like maybe a message or two, it could be encouragement, it could be things to do or how to go about it like that. I think it'd be really appreciated.
Yeah, I'll say this, and we need to stand up for each other. If there's the majority will always win the few.
Right.
So I believe if we can stand up for each other, we can put an end to this bullying thing. Remember the EndSARS period that we talked about? Man, that was the sweetest time. In fact, I was driving in Lagos without my particulars then. There was nobody stopping you and stuff, and this was because people actually stood up and said something. So my own thing is, if for example now, any police stop is everybody stop. If they stop you, make people gather there. Why you stop them? What is the problem? Is this paper not complete? If it's paper complete, you are making the go. You understand? Like we need to start standing up for ourselves in this country. That's just the fact. Yeah. If we start doing this and start putting these people in a serious check, I believe things will start to get normal, because we need to really stand up. So if you are in a class, for example, you notice somebody's getting bullied, stand up for that person, because it might be your turn tomorrow. Stand up for that person. That's what I have to say.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought about that, but that's a very, very valid point. So, basically, I think you've said it all. There are a lot of things going on in this country, and the best you can do for yourself, because eventually you will get to your turn. If not today, another day will get to your turn. So the best thing you can do for yourself and for people around you is to stand up for people, and at the same time, stand up for yourself too. I think we have talked about this enough, and we need to round up and move on to the next phase. If this topic, if we touched this topic that you have, wanted us to talk about for a long period of time, I think now is the right time to hit that subscribe button, like this video, drop your comments. If there are similar topics that you'd want us to talk about, maybe something that you feel like should be talked about, but people are not talking about enough, do let us know in the comment section. We'll be more than willing and more than happy to talk about these topics. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. See you in our next episode. Bye.
Imagine me the color president. It makes sense. If they call the 5 minutes now, you go to talk to it makes sense. To bring us engagement.